Am I like live? Hello? Oh, hello? Should be live. Aha. Here it is. Hello? Ay, not ka. Okay. Hello? I am alive. Okay, quick confession. Yes, I know it's like beyond uh reset. Um, I didn't fall asleep. I wish that could be like my reason, but no. I went outside to like buy art supplies apparently, and it's supposed to be like shoes, but they did not have my foot size um smudge. So we're gonna like try again like the next time when I do like get a call and whatever. So anywho's that's my mainly excuse on the most things. What did I buy? Oh, I just got like uh panels, watercolor, a lot of tape. That's mainly it. Yeah, a marker, eraser, some art supplies like normal. I just want to like play around with like some things in like the future. That's why I actually bought this like just in case. But I do have plans when it comes to these. Well, anywho's, how's everyone going? I know it's like beyond reset, and I still need to go back to like goblin hours when it comes to that. But anywho's, tier list, shall we? Yeah. Whoa. Okay, wrong title. Um, be gone. Okay, we're not. We are going to tackle that in like another time. But hello, hello, welcome to the tier list. Hello. Um, for like quick context and whatever's, I'm like not really that high of a mastery in like PC. I am like 454, which is relatively like low for like most endgame players out there. In console, I'm actually at like 600 and something and a full blown Revenant main, but I didn't really like play for like a while, and I know like the max is already like 800. I'm not sure what's the current max, but I'm technically like pretty high up there. That's why I decided, you know what, let's actually like try this. Then like so desperately try to like get up there while I'm doing my PC account, my new main account. But any further ado's, what we have here is the weekly, daily, whatevers, and the I don't know how you explain these. The weekly bonuses, the weekly days bonuses, whatever's. Um, so it's going to be 100% like biased because I am a patron. I am a patron nerd, which I have like 1 month patron currently, and I'm planning on buying more and more and more because patron, oh lord, it just helps a lot in like the game when you're trying to progress from like another account and going back to your main. But anywho's, we have ha ha ha, we have like 7 days. Am I bricked? Wait. Yeah, we have 7 days. Okay. I don't know why I feel absolutely like bricked. Um yeah. So I genuinely don't know how you actually do this like tier list. I guess it's like favorite days on depending on where you are. But currently, because people are like questioning even me, that's saying, yo, tier, what is your like preferred day when you 100% grind? Flux. So ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, we shall do this. Aha. Yeah, Flux Farming Day. Tier list. What's the current tier list for the Flux Farming Day? So, when it comes to adventure, for the adventure day, this is regarding like the full 24 hours and patron. So, there's going to be some major bias when it comes to these things. It also depends what class you're running. There's a lot of variables that we can go over to this. So like Lower all of that. Let's go for the most consistent speedrunning class that most people are using, which is the Shadow Hunter. And we shall go with said patron, and you're like max everything. Very theoretical. Yes, I know it's not the beginner friendly when it comes to that. Don't worry, we can do that. But okay, let's actually clarify this. Whales. Air quotes, wait. Whales. Slash spenders. Better? Oh, that does not show. Ha. And I'm okay. Farming day, flux farming days for like whale slash spenders. This is going to be like the tier list for the said days. Anywho's, okay, we shall do this with like uh regarding you have max mastery, you have max magic find, you have max everything, blah 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 blah. Even though I don't think magic find helps with like most of the days, except for like farming and like I think gem day. I'm not sure. Anywho's, for flux wise, let's go for like the left all the way to like the right. We're not going to do this by order. We're going to do this by whatever is here in. Well, okay, let's actually do this by order. Fine. So it's going to be shards, gathering, gems, adventure, XP, and then loot. This, yeah. These are Monday to like Sunday. So yeah. Okay. So idea is for flux farming wise, if you have Patreon and you're like a hard shadow hunter, uh this is going to be put roughly over at like the D tier if you're like using shadow hunter. Let's actually clarify this because I might actually get like hard flame because I might just get hard flame. No, the suspender class SH max stats max skill tree. Does that show? Does that show on like stream? Too small. Put it above my head. Put it on my head. No. put it, just put it right there. I just gotta wait for like the. I'm currently like looking at like the screen currently. Um. Hmm. You can't really see it because it's like the. Hold on. I got it. Yes. Nope. Okay. Oh. You. I'm bricked. I'm not sure if you can even see that. Um. Though that works. We just do this. That looks sure. that works, eh? Oh, the white actually does show slightly. Okay, in like the stream. But we can actually just do that. So these are the uh thing. When it comes to like the tier list, we're going to go for you know what? Class. Where is it? Class best for day. Okay, because when it comes to like the whales, everyone practically has like max level on all of their classes. We all have the classes because mastery is a requirement. So yeah, practically it's going to be like the best for the day and max stats, max skill tree, and it's going to be whales. So that means guaranteed patron. And does it look fine? Is it better? Yeah. Okay. So, anywho's, for the neon ninjas of the community, hello brothers, hello. I'm not a neon ninja main. I am a boomer main, which is hey. Yes, I like eating food too. Say hello. Yeah, I like food. No. Anywho, Monday with like Patreon, which is currently reset, and I should be actually genuinely grinding this. This is for me the best day possible if you're like a hard Neon Ninja, because you just go on to like the slash join delves, and then you get like shards. You can get like 300,000 go for like farms if you're like dedicated. If you continuously just keep grinding shard day to like Kingdom Come, you are going to get a lot of flux. Moreover, from like selling the shards, of course, getting your weeklies and everything. I still need to log on. Next day, gathering day. Um, for the gathering day, actually, this is usually like my farming day where I actually farm some of my crops. I'm not going to like spoil what I'm farming because hey, I still need to make flux too. Um, Yeah. Mainly gardening day used for like getting like a lot of like gardening, of course. Your farming done, you get all of your crops, you can get all multiple ores, blah 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 blah. But mainly also, if you're a hard end game player, people are genuinely bored of the game and search for like trophies with like the max weight of like said fish, which is like 20 kilograms. I'm not sure what weight system Trove uses in like the trophy system. But if you do get a 20, you get like a pristine one, you can sell it for like millions of flux, which is why. Okay, weird. But if we're going to even for like whales for like farming, it 100% depends on what you're farming. But for me, it's like a 50-50 because I genuinely don't spend all of my flux on like farming. I spend it on like another thing, which is being gamba. No, but anyways, yeah, B for like the whales and whatnots. For me, actually. But for all of the dedicated like people who actually farm out the right crops, depends on like the market because you need to constantly search the market and I don't have practically like time for that. If that doesn't sound really like interesting to you, don't actually hard focus. Like your flux day shouldn't be like for Tuesdays or yeah, Tuesdays for me. Gem day. Uh I haven't really earned much flux in gem day because mainly you get like six lustrous gem boxes and you get like uh gems. You get more gem boxes and you decrease the amount of gem dust that you need to like upgrade your gems. So it's 100% just for progressing. So 100% for like flux making. Personally, for me, I don't know how you actually make flux in like gem day because practically everything the lustrous gem box is like untradeable because it's like augments. Gems you can really trade from the very beginning. Plus with the gems, you can charge for like um people to leech off of you, but why? They can just keep up. They can add you if you do like add them back and they can just keep up for like gems, etc. That's just it. That's for me this is like a bad way of like getting flux for this day, but I actually know people who actually do that. I'm not part of that. If y'all want for like a carry for like U10 U11, um if I'm free, if I'm also doing it at the exact same time, or if I'm genuinely like bored out of my mind and I'm like online, hit me up and I don't really mind farming in like U10 U11. No mind. Adventure day. This is actually a very interesting day because this is actually one of my more favorite days because I get like double the adventurine, um, the loot adventure boxes, and the talismans. The talismans I don't really get much, which is like Smoge. For the adventurine though, I you can actually gamble with the adventurine with the locked strong boxes, and you can possibly get like a tradable costume which gives you millions. So for me, because I'm actually pretty like lucky, moreover, I like farm thousands of dungeons per like when I start going zombie mode with like my dino tamer. So personally, for me, I use my dino tamer on this day, and I just hard steamroll. So yeah, hey. Again, for like D tier, it depends on who's your farmer of the day. But for your B, for what am I talking about? Right, the B over the gardening, I usually go over to like my slowest class possible, the one that I didn't build movement speed on, which is I think my knight, not my knight. What's my slowest? Candy barb? Either or. I just use my slowest because I typically go over my crops. But yeah. For me, of course, Neon Ninja, which is the weekly. Um for this A tier, for the adventure day, I use my Dino Tamer. For the B, I just use my slowest class, Candy Barb, so I don't run over my crops. D, I just use my Boomer because that is my main. Dragon Day. Oh, this is an actually interesting one. Because if you can actually farm out like dragons, you can possibly get like 150k with Patron. Not even for like the whole entire day. You can get like you can if you are practically very much lucky, you can get that in like an hour, which is comparable to like flux farming normally on like loot day. But anyways, typically I also just use my speedrunner classes, which is either the Lunar Lancer, the Neo Ninja, of course the big five, which the Bard, the Lunar Lancer, the Shadow Hunter, the Neo Ninja. I just use whatever. I just use a Dino Tamer because why not? So, usually I like go on to the Dragon Chat and I just farm. Of course, the whole day. You just wait until the hour. Every hour for the first 20 minutes, you can get multiple dragon coins, mastery and whatnot, blah 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 blah. Most of you already know this, but 150k if you're actually pretty much lucky because you can get that if you're really really lucky. Like one of my friends, he actually told me he actually really tried this method, which was insane that he actually timed it for himself because I never expected him to time it. But he said, you know what, bet he timed himself. He got 250k in like 30 minutes, which was insane. I don't know what class what he was running. Because he just literally just told me, yo, tier, heads up, I got like more than a quarter of a mil by using my class smiley face. And then what? How you do that? How you do that? Anywho's XP day. If you're like an absolute uh bad guy, that's the best way. You can like charge people for like ships, but that's just like why. XP day you don't really like gain much flux. Well, for me, I don't typically know a method where you can grind flux for like XP. No, wait, paragons. Oh, brain blast. Um, Actually, when I actually realized that, it depends on your actual classes because I guess if you're like over level 100, it starts to slow down the farm. But if you do have like alts and you have some of your classes that are still like level 1, this is 100% like weird way to like explain all of this to like a new player. But for whales, yes, people use alts. I don't have an alt yet. But people usually like invite multiple of their accounts into like one ship and then they just AFK and they just continuously just farm like prime paragons from those alts. They don't typically touch. They just go over, get the mastery, get the power rank, they invite, and that's mainly it. And Paragon Pinatas, even though people are like religiously like grinding it, it's still like 80k per, and you can get to roughly 1 to 100, which is hard gamba. I always get 2. It also depends on Patron. So if you get that 100 drop, roughly you already get like 10 mil more than from like the whole. That's not even the whole entire day. We could okay. Hard crunch numbers, boring, I know. Nerds, we can go over for like 300 pins. Far step. If you have like multiple outs, blah 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 blah. 300 pins is not really that much. People really do that. Um, whoa, that's a lot of like money. I'm like calculating. Honestly, I was about to put it a D tier, but I forgot Paragons existed. Yo, yo, that's yeah. Actually, sleeper. Yo, sleeper day. Sleeper day. Loot day. Pick your favorite speedrunner class, the big five, and then just go to town at like U10 if you can grind U10 or the highest Uber that you can do. If you have, for me personally, you can already start farming this when you're like 5k magic find, 4k. You just need to like enough drops for like stellars and you can get like, well, I farm like 250k an hour roughly 50, when I just get a dead world in like U10 anywhere with like my dino tamer because I can like speed run through all of it. Okay, with that whale thing out of the way, reset. Aha. We shall now head over to the free to play. Uh, pure F2P. Uh, best class for the day. Um, max. 20. Let's set a bar for most of this because it's like going to be F2P. A lot of my club mates are actually hard struggling at like 30k PR. So we're going with 30k PR. And let's just say with minus the max skill 3, we have um 1 week of Patron. Or uh no, it's ooh. There's going to be a lot of variables now that I think about it. Okay. Prior to like the max skill tree, we will go for of course the best class for the day. They will in theory find like some guides, 30k PR, max skill tree. Let's not go with that. Let's go with um 5k light. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. We shall put that as the parameters, as the um stats that we're going to judge off everything for like a F2P without Patron and farming out the weeks. So without Patron, best class for the day, of course, would still be Neon Ninja. If you're like 30k PR, 5k light, people would still invite you. Practically, you just need like full movement speed, keep up with the group, and you can get like if you're lucky, I guess if you like dedicate your like life to it, not really life, like 24 hours, you can get like 100k shards. That's reaching out of the moon, I guess. Who 50k, fine. Let's just say 50k. That's still like 5 mil. Eh, 4 point something, 4.6 mil. Yeah, yeah, yeah. With like the shards, nerds, I know I can like mental millions. That's cool when it comes to like in-game money. Real life, no, 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 no. Yeah, without Patreon, 30k PR, 5k light, you can barely like kill, but you don't really need anything. You just need to like right backflip with the Neon Ninja, get your you don't even have the full vacuum, so copium. Just get the crystals that you need, maybe 50k, maybe hard cope. 30k still, that's still like 3 million, I swear. Because it's 990k for like a whole stack, which is like 10k. If you even get that, that's still like a mil for like a day, which still is insane. Even if you're so lazy, because actually later I'm actually going to hard farm the shadow shard. I need money. Okay, for the 30k, 5k for the farming day, it depends what you're using. Usually people used to use the boomer as like the prior miner, not the other thing, where because the boomer actually has his bombs that can destroy like a lot of like ores. So prior to everything, even like Patreon, we it's still weird. It's a weird day because people don't usually start farming or do the gardening table even during this stage. So typically it depends. You can go like nitro farming with a lot of people, but for without F2P, also 30k, 5k light, it's very difficult to get like invites from like high tier players. Um, it's very rare to like find a high tier player that's actually like kind or bored enough to like, you know what, let's just invite him for the why nots. It's like very difficult to find those players. And if you do, wow, luck. But best you can do on this day is like nitro farming. That's the best thing that you can do without patron, without any farming. 30k, you can use like the shadow hunter, you can use like the boomer for his bombs, you can use even the neo ninja, the speed farmers, but it's going to be difficult to like find a gun to train since they nerfed it. Same, of course, D tier 100% would be the gems. Farming day for like the adventurine because it's still a gamba. If you want to do the log boxes, it is practically like the same. Yes, you can do it, but less that you get, the less chances that you have of like actually getting gambling for like a costume worth like millions. You have better odds of like selling the lock boxes for like 40, 30k. You can still get like 200,000 more over than the gamba 5 mil per costume, depends. So it's still good, honestly. It's 100% going to be way lower than the max possibility in like A tier, because hey, it's like very difficult. Moreover, this it if you like dedicate, it's still a hit or miss over here. Dragon Day, oof, oof. Do not do the farming method for what I said earlier for like the whales. Dragon Day is very much sad, because you don't get 15. You get like, how much do you get? 10? Yeah, you get 10 more over the like 15. So that's already like, how much do you lose? 2k? 2k flux? And that adds up into more and more of the day. You can barely get like, ooh, 100k, and that can be like the whole entire day. You can get like dragon fragments, but 100k for like 24 hours, you could honestly just sell a max stack of shapestone and get that. So typically, no, just farm your dragon coins. Don't farm anything else. You can sell what you got extra, but hard farming it, not recommended for like pure F2P. In like trove, best for the day, I'd say it's still going to be like your fastest class 30k PR, 5k light, 50-50. Because 5k light, I think you can go U10, you can kill decently, I'm not sure. Because I'm spoiled and I have 10k, and I 10k light for like my boomer, and I have 8k going up because I find I'm re-rolling like all of my gems for like my dino. XP day, it's going to be a non-bias because it's still going to be like, of course, paragons. If you 100% like AFK it, you can get moreover than the paragons is actually not the paragons that you're actually going for. I'm spoiling a lot of secrets, and I'm sorry if this if one of these are actually one of your flux farming methods, but people that I know of, I'm going to 100% spoil this because he still owes me flux. I don't care. He knows whatever I'm talking about, he knows who he is. But he sells popular class rings, which is the crystal rings, because they are tradable. You don't sell the level 1s, level 2s, maybe because the level 2s are still like 300k. He sells the level 3s and level 4s, which are like millions. 1.6 mil depends on the class for like level 3. 16 million for like the level 4. So if you get lucky enough and you have enough alts, you can actually practically um destroy everyone's bank accounts, because moreover you're like farming paragons on the side, you're also farming rings, which for me rings are like more profitable for like the F2Ps moreover than to like the pay to wins. um Note, please be careful of the information anyone is actually getting from this whole entire like stream while I'm doing this, because if you do sell much, then the market is actually like, what I'm trying to say is like, don't overinflate the said item, because if you put more of said item in the market, the more it would be go over to like more players, hence lower the flux value. Does that make sense? I'm like explaining actual economics. I just gave out like a free economics class in like my stream. I'm not even like studying economics. I'm an art student. But anywho's, if you know what, we are going full economics right over here. If your supply is high, the demand is practically low. That that means if you have enough supply, but you have the low demand, less flux. But in theory, if you do find that lucky gem, that lucky resource, if it has low supply, meaning there's like millions of flux on the line, the demand is really, really high. Henceforth, people actually really want said class, need said class ring. So people are really searching for it. So if you have enough supply, air quotes, you have like millions of like the prime loops or whatever it's called, and everyone is still buying, you practically have Scrooge McDuck levels of like wealth in your pocket, and you just gradually need to like sell them. Let's just I just did like a whole economics class. Like I hopefully I just explained that better, or to like some degree. Loot there for like F2P again for like the best class. It's your favorite class as you want what you're farming on. If you're like using this because 5k light, 30k PR, if you're doing this in like U10, you're not going to have a fun time, because at this point you barely would have like magic find. You would barely have like 1000, 1500 at most. That's roughly copium stats, but that's the best how I can like say for like most players. So it's a 50-50, because you would be grinding at U9, you would absolutely destroy U9. But for me, you would still roughly get for the whole entire day, you can barely reach like 300,000, because you would get like uh 15-25k per full inventory, which is really not that much if you're not farming crystals. But it's still better than Dragon Day, because so yeah. Flux farming for me, if y'all listened, don't worry, I will make this into a whole nother video for those who are actually hard smoging and doesn't want to like hear me in like the background spilling all of the secrets. Don't worry, I won't leave anyone out, and I will be like tortured for spilling out the tea. Hehehe. Can't wait. Can't wait to get like hard, like verbally abused. No. Okay. Now to the fun part. Ha ha ha. Moreover, for like the best flux farming, we are going with dungeon farming. Yeah. Dear, what are you doing? You are literally hard stalling for weeklies. Yes, I am. Alright. Dungeon farming. Uh do we also do it like earlier with like the whale standpoint, max stats? Fine, let's actually do that. Um I should really put this like end game player. End game player. Max stats. Max skill tree. Minimize. Minimize more. Fix that. Okay. Okay, there's an end game. Don't mind. This little buddy right over here, that's just the Tomb Raiser. I'm actually hard. Um, whoa. Uh, I'm like blocking like my old favorite class, the Revenant. Anywho's, endgame players, this is going to be the max stats. And typically on how people actually see said class as like a speed farmer. Knight? Okay, without further ado, let's actually start with our good pal, the Knight. With like subclass wise, it's like movement speed and more flask. Substats, meh. Well, what does the Knight give? Never mind. It is like the flask that's like the subset. Um, Subclass wise, we are not doing that here. But let's just say everyone has like the bare. Oof, oof, that is rough. What can I say? Okay, endgame players usually use like Solarian. So let's just say everyone uses Solarian and Solarian just uses like the Bard. Yeah, let's just do that. Because that's how I like listen to like other people. Well, that's how I do things. More over everyone in like the end game. So anywho's, everyone's running like the Solarian. You know what? Let's actually type that in. Um, Solarian subclass Soul using Bard. Let's actually type that here. Okay. Fixed. Hey. Okay. Solarian subclass. Okay. Knight. Basic attack is you're going to be your bread and butter. Your right click, you don't really need to use that. Your number one, which is like a Hadouken, with your like subclass or your class gem. I mean, it's nice, but if you want to make him like a speed farmer, which it's a 50-50 if you're like conscious enough, people actually don't use his class gem, but people just use it because why not? And for the ultimate is just like an extra flask. But people usually like go in, destroy with like their basic attack next with like the volatile bounder. But it really depends for max endgame players that I actually know of. I know of an 8 main that actually is max stats and religiously just uses the knight. And he can pretty much farm dungeons in like U11 like pretty quickly, like with like most classes. So let's just go with like B because I also tried the knight, but it's again like U9. I haven't tried the knight in my other account, but I know I can like hard grind U11, so I just tested out at U9. But knight, uh, it, oh, it just really depends. I swear. Pirate cap for a speed farmer, usable, usable, but really, you could like let's not get into it. Ice Age. Hey, people use people put ice in like S tier, and hey, with like conjurers. I don't want to like type conjurers there. People let's not. Okay. Dungeon farming. It's going to be the usual. God, do I really need to put that there? Fine, fine, fine. Text. What did I put here? Text two. Let's actually make a new one. What font was I using? Wait, what font am I? Okay, okay, okay. What font am I using? My what? Okay. Thank you, chat. My huh? What was I using? Yo, I'm bricked. What? What? No, no, I am genuinely bricked. Nope. Hey. Yeah, no, I'm just hard. Thank you, chat. Yep. No, it's perfectly fine. Why all did you say that's not fine? Why not? Text. Flask. Why am I doing this? Flask, conjurer, trail, and um damage emblem. Sure. Why am I doing this? Y'all lucky that I actually like do this or actually respect doing this. If not, color code? No. Why, man? Okay. Good lord. Okay, without further ado, haha. Um, the Ice Age speed class, you just spam either trailblazing or you switch it out for like a chronomatic emblem. You just spam Q, you spam your ultimate, and then you just like roll through everything. I tried it. Not my cup of tea, but a lot of like endgame players actually really love the Ice Age because Ice Age to them is like an all-rounder class, which is understandable. Oh, we have the big man himself. Uh Moving on, no. um he's like the most overall used in like dungeon farming, but in like end game purposes, people actually still use him, even though there's like more stronger classes, and some people actually don't like said meta. So people usually like not use him for the sake of like being different. So, but yeah, Shadow Hunter is like still very good, but the damage on certain characters are still more, but again, Shadow Hunter, I will remind everyone, damage big number damage doesn't say that the class is weak or whatever. For example, we can go over to like the Boomer, the Boomer Ranger versus like the Shadow Hunter because people compare them a lot since the reworks and whatnot. The Shadow Hunter is a DPS, damage per second character, where it actually takes some certain time while the Boomer just goes and one shot bursts the enemies. But the Shadow Hunter makes it up because of speed, so it purely like depends on like the player when it comes to like what they're using. D tier is not really like bad. It's usable. Usable. Yep. It's usable as like a speed farmer, but typically not recommended. Um okay, I actually really for all of the Fae haters out there, cry. Yes, I put this on my description that I might be based, but I will give Fae the rep that it purely deserves because if you switch out like the trailblazing for like the zealous emblem, you can like spam TP in like the air and you can one shot people in like your single target damage and your number one, which is like a AoE stun. It's typically practically like the Revenant to some degree, but that's typically what I'm seeing. Okay, for some of the dudes that are actually saying, "Yo, tier, you're actually forgetting that they have a ring ability forehead. Why you're not saying the ring ability?" Um, we'll get to that because some don't really need to use the ring ability because some don't actually gain a significant boost to like speed to some of them. But if it helps in like the speed, yes, I will 100% recommend to like do that. But if I don't see anything because I haven't purely like hard farmed the character, you don't really need to like use anything, which is like good on itself. This is noise. The barb. Oh, okay. With that, okay, there. The barb actually has a candy barbarian. I mean, because people are actually confusing when we some end game players actually abbrev the two characters. But the Barb, Candy Barb, CB, actually has a ring ability where you press your right click, you spin, and you actually get a movement speed. And it's very much speedy. But for me, not my cup of tea. Um, for the end game farming, it's people use the barb, yes, but the knight for me is just better. Is that wrong to like say? Is that like base? For me, the knight is like better. Of course, after this video, if it does go live, I'm gonna get like harassed, and I'm going to get like, yo, add me. I'll show you a speedrun barb, and then I'm hi, shush. I will update it the more I play. Don't worry. I will respect your character eventually, but for now, on what my friends has been showing me, maybe I just have like weak friends, but hey, yeah, sure. Maybe just not the case, SMH. Neon Ninja, still the fastest speed farmer out there, no questions asked, because he is movement incarnate. No questions asked. Plus, with the buff, with the rework, where every time you flip, you get like a shuriken charge, he just got even more faster. Plus, the basic attack got buffed to like Kingdom Come, which he can actually like he can consistently clear out curse calls. Either way, that it's still a very, very, very good class. Gunslinger. Actually, I actually got a random player. Well, he actually joined one of my streams once in like Twitch, and then he actually told me that the Gunslinger was actually decent after the rework. Good damage, yes, but for me as a farming class, it's like usable, but personally, it could go either way between like the barb and like the ah oof. Yeah, I would put this here. Yeah, I would put this here because U11 grinding, uh you you practically need most people actually like practically need to use their like damage emblem, aka arcane or the martial emblem, the either or, and they have an extra slot. Either you can put trailblazing or the other emblem that they need. For the gunslinger, you need to use the chronomatic emblem because the DPS is from the ultimate, and if you don't really like spamming lights, you won't really like this guy. The barb can use trailblazing moreover with like the speed, but I don't like the spin to win. It gets me dizzy for some random reason. That's why I actually put the knight up there. But for like this, it's like 50-50. Draco! Yeah, I actually like farming with the Draco. Draco's are really really nice. He's not A tier because there's like other classes that are faster, aka the like the Candy Barb. But for like end game players, I don't typically see it on how you can play him without getting dizzy. Maybe it's just like a skill issue on my part. But hey, yeah. We can also put a Tomb Racer because they're practically the same class. One's just fire, one's playing with that dead because two has like babbies when you have like the subclass. So you don't really need like Boomer! Hey, my main! Yay! Um, speed farming wise, he can be fast, but not as fast as like the Fae and the Ice Age. But bro, if I'm so biased, I would 100% just put us on S tier, best class. No, also the Revenant. But the Boomer, he has like a damage, attack speed, and a movement speed buff when you get your right click on. But the issue is on like my Boomer build, I don't usually use Trailblazing. I more overuse Chronomatic. Plus I haven't maxed all of his stats yet with like movement speed. But I know this the Boomer can like get really speedy, but that's like the normal build. But it just gets above all of the rest because it has a semi-consistent movement speed boost with like just catching one of the boomerangs. It purely like depends. Plus, I just like this over the night. That's why it's just here. Even though these two deserve like higher, I just don't see it like properly taking shape to like most players out there. It won't be like their cup of tea. Moreover, all of this because endgame it really depends. Again, this whole tier list is a 50-50 when it comes to like the best dungeon farming because it depends who your favorite class is. That's mainly it. So, anywho's continuing. Aha, big boy. Big boy Revenant with a some ring thingy called Speedy Spears, which actually disables the movement speed thingy, which you can practice. It is like an AFK train, which um it's actually fun. It's actually really fun because you don't really need to like think of anything. You can just go in there, say hello, press your spears, you're done. Everything's like dead because Revenant you can't really die with like the Revenant. It's practically difficult to die with like the Revenant. But just in case, you would still use that death defying just in case you're like second life doesn't trigger properly, and you can actually switch chronomatic for like trailblazing because you don't really need anything. But it people actually use the other emblem, which is the if you use a flask there's a chance that you don't use it, but 50-50. Revenant actually really fun. It's like AFK, more brain power, spin to win, practically a lunar lancer. Ooh, hello. The max speed I actually got with my like lunar, even though can barely. No, actually, my lunar is like 31k, 30k. Um, he's like weak compared to like, of course, my main class, the boomer, because it's just what it is. I actually got a speed because I used his ring effect. I actually got the speed to like a 356 on like a dead world, and I was like zooming. Oh. Plus, moreover, I wasn't even using like the grappling, the flying, but the movement for the Lunar Lancer. If you're a Lunar main, hey, you're eating good. If you're like doing like dungeon farming, you're eating good. Like very fun. Clara, why? Usable. Yes, Clara is like technically a boss killer. That's why it's actually like usable. I just put these two up here because their DPS are like insane, so they can actually like speed farm consistently. Dino, hey, that's my speed farmer right there. Um, I farm with like U10, with like chronomatic and trailblazing. But if you're not using him for like U10 purposes, I usually use Dino if I actually got enough light and actually can grind up to like U11, I would switch out the trailblazing, move it over to like the arcane because more damage is actually like good. And yeah, I just destroy. Oh, and my dino actually uses the night subclass because I don't have max light yet, so I can't really do like the farm flux. Vanguard. Ooh. Ooh, it's a tricky subject. It's a very tricky subject because it has like his number one. Yeah, that's mainly it. The barb, yeah, perfectly. It's also the same. It's practically also the same. Solarian, he's like the best class currently, which is like a lot of people can actually say that properly. But I could put in a B. I don't typically see it like an actual class when it comes to that, but yeah. Anywho's, um, we can finally get rid of all this because we are going with delves. Aha. Oops. Delves. Delve farming. C4 question mark. whoop. Oh, I just popped my mic. All right, Delves. Hello, Delves. No, we can like speed run through all of this because I'm going to speed run through all of this. I'm going to place in all of my rankings and then explain. Then like taking 10 million years of doing this. So that Delves. Yes, yes, actually. Eh, I actually like using that. No. Uh, only at like shards. I'm going to explain it properly. Don't worry. I really like using that. Of course. Uh, Same class. Revenant. Practically also the same. Lunar Lancer. Delve wise. It's going to be like a B, but people actually use it. Delves, yes. The Chlora just destroys. The Dino is also there. Vanguard, yes, I actually really like that. The Barb, the Bard, depends. But Solarian also here. Okay, so time to explain properly on why place on the places. Knight, Pirate Cap, and the Gunslinger for like the Delves, for like the bottom of the bottom. It's very much arguable, but for me, okay, Gunslinger is not really like the worst out there because typically no one's like the worst, but we could still put this as like usable. Actually, um, huh, huh, yeah, eh. If you're running solo delves, yeah, okay. Uh explain it in explanation time. Okay, usable for like the night and whatever because the night usually it's like a 50-50. Um for like delve farming wise, it's why there's like other classes that are like faster, more consistent. The night is just there if you have nothing else to like use or if you're like farming C4. That's like mainly the use of the night. But there's like other sword classes like the barb and like the ninja, even the boomer, but it's like a 50-50. So it's like very meh for like the night to be going on like delve C4 farming like consistently. Pirate captain, same boat, but if you're like strong enough for the pirate cap, very brain heavy. It's not like dead. It really depends. C tier for like the Fatrix, the Neon Ninja, and two summoners. Fatrix because it is a confined area, very small. You will get hit 100%, and your passive will be no, even if you have your like class gem. Neon Ninja, practically the same thing, but I just put him exactly like here, then like B tier, because I usually like the Lunar Lancer better. And people would actually agree that the Lunar, some players would actually agree that the Lunar is actually nice because you can actually see where you're going, then like backflipping anywhere. Also the Vanguard. But I rarely see like Vanguards over like Lunar Lancers, like up there. Dino, not Dino, Draco and Tomb Bracer, both of them, it's practically the same. You just wait until the speed grinders over there on the tippy top, which would be the Shadow Hunter, the Neon Ninja, the Lunar Lancers, the Bards, and even the Dino Tamers. Those five would just go instantly to like the boss, clear everything out, and then the two summoners can like either like take aggro. I'm not sure if they can actually like take aggro, but they can like help with like a lot of like consistent DPS with like their summons. The barb. Oh, I'm baked. I'm bricked. The barb, the revenant, and the lunar lancer are actually up here. The revenant is practically like the same, but you can 100% make it like a speed class. The barb is also the same, but you just wait on the back lines. You just pick up everything that people left. And it's like a 50-50 if you actually want to make it very fast and efficient. You typically go over for like the boomer or the Neo Ninja if you really want like a C4 sword for like speed purposes. Lunar Lancer, people usually use this. Boss area, very, very strong, yes. But after quite some time, falls off, and the others just pick up when it comes because Lunars just go over to like the edge and like destroys everything 50-50. But I've 100% seen like strong Lunars. They're rare, but they do exist. Chloro. Chloro is like a very good class. Not as what it used to be before the nerf, but still very, very, very strong. Dino, practically the same, but I put Dino up here more because you can just like place your alt, you can ride the Dino, you can hold your left click over the whole entire delve, and then it's like perfectly fine. So, it just clears faster than like most. Vanguard, it has like a consistent pyro disc, and that's why I actually use it. I like it more than like the Lunar Lancer because with Lunar Lancer, people usually get like stuck and get like outran by like of course the Shadow Hunter, the Ice Age, blah 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 blah, because they're like consistent classes when it comes to down here rather than like the Lunar Lancer. But if you're actually really used to the Lunar Lancer, yeah, it's like arguable. Gunslinger is still up here because DPS, hey, still very good. Plus after the rework. Solarion, DPS. Just big guy. Big guy Solarion. Still the big boy DPS currently. The Bard for like buffs, it like helps. Boomer is like deep RNG DPS, which works surprisingly. Ice Age because Ice Age is very very much consistent, and of course the Shadow Hunter because it's a Shadow Hunter. Hehe. Uki, we shall do this because I actually went over an hour and I didn't think I would actually talk this long, and I would be done because I still have two more tier lists. Oh no, Leviathans. Leviathan runs. Okay, this is going to be the last one. This is going to be the 100% last one because I didn't think I will start talking this long. Okay, because I still need to do like my weeklies and it's the next day. Okay, for the Leviathan runs, no. Usable, yes, because DPS. Yes, people actually really like the Ice Age. Uh, sure, but eh, eh, okay. You will die. Usable, uh, yes. Sure, yes. Okay. Usable. Uh, ooh, sure. Uh, meh. Okay. Okay. Um. Oh, I just bopped my mic. People usually use like the Shadow Hunter for like the Leviathan runs because he's like consistent, range, blah 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 blah. But okay, let's actually start over to like the D tier. D with like the knight and like the candy barb. The both of them, barb can actually help more over than like the knight. The knight can do help, but the boss would have been dead prior to you like using your ultimate. The candy barb it just gives out attack speed because you are not going to consistently start damaging a U10 Levi with the barb. Vanguard, if you're using the range mode, why? Just why? Anyways, Revenant still can like use because you can take like aggro if the right click does work as is intended, where you can actually take aggro, but it's a Revenant, so it doesn't work. But it's trove and aggro does not agree with aggro. Lunar Lancer and Neon Ninja is practically the same because the Lunar Lancer, if you have your ult, you place down your ult, you can like spawn in, some of your like minions, there's like a chance for it to spawn. Neon Ninja, you can like practically just keep spamming your like shurikens, and that's mainly it. Dino Tamer and Faye. Ooh. Dino can work, yes. Not the fastest, but he works, yes. Faye also, but Faye with phase damage, Faye could have. Mm, Faye could be dealing more. That's the best way of how I can put Faye in. Faye could 100% be doing more than what is actually given to like Faye. The Barb, because people actually use the damage song in every song possible, then switch to their Solarion so they can actually get like the buff. So the Barb is really really good if you're like pre-set up for like a solo Leviathan run. But with like a gigantic group, yeah, the Bard also like helps with like buffing everyone. It also helps with like time wise. Chloro is like a boss killer, very very cool, but not as the boss killer as it used to be. The two over here is like just very like consistent DPS. The gunslinger, yes, but you can it's just alt spam, but it's like the same with like the Shadow Hunter, but the Shadow Hunter is like more consistent. The Pyrica for me, uh, the ranking for like A, it can vary. But for like the pirate captain, it's also like the chloromancer, which all of the summons, it depends on how many you have on like the field. It's your DPS, so it's like 50-50. Ice Age, consistent in like ultimate. The two, oh, it's just DPS incarnate, which is like RNG. This is like DOT, which is the best boss killer and technically the best class in the whole entire game. Will I switch to Solarian anytime soon? Maybe not. But I already like spoiled myself with like Solarian. But anywho's, that's going to be all for me because I actually spent more than an hour an hour and 7 minutes on this. Because I genuinely thought I wouldn't like spend this long and I would like talk for like 30 minutes at most. Anywho's, hopefully y'all did enjoy me being based and I actually need to do my weeklies. Anywho's, see y'all tomorrow. We'll see what I'm actually going to do tomorrow because I have 2 days before I actually go like to my Minecraft. Okay. Before I start rambling on with like me being scatterbrained. See y'all tomorrow or the other day. But of course, Minecraft. Bye guys. Hee